With me now is Republican Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill. General, thank you for being here. I just want to read you a statement that came out from the New Orleans mayor office about what happened and the reaction to what's happened. They say the city of New Orleans will not be distracted by outside commentary and welcomes everyone to join the positive efforts of the Unified Command partners. Now, in light of what we are now being told by how unprepared, particularly for the Bourbon Street massacre to take place, where the car clearly went right through an insufficient barrier that they had, even though they had barriers that were in storage. Do you think that statement is going to hold up? And by the way, the city is now being sued by victims of that attack.
Well, I think lawsuits are, predictable after something like this. And look, the city is going to have to be answering a lot of hard questions while it also gets ready for a Super Bowl. Honestly, preparing for the Super Bowl is going to be more of a federal and state preparation matter. The oversight of that is the responsibility of the federal government, the NFL, and the state officials. But I will say that New Orleans obviously has to be part of that, and they also have to answer questions about what happened.
Yeah, well, the biggest question is why were they so unprepared? I mean, I'm not going to run the whole soundbite because people have heard it, but the police chief, or you say superintendent down there, said, we did have a plan. I'm quoting her directly. We did have a plan, but the terrorists defeated it. Well, the point is you need a plan that they're not going to defeat. And clearly, when you had access to barriers that weren't being used and other problems that had been pointed to going back as far as 2020 about security on Bourbon Street, it doesn't appear that they were prepared.
Look, again, there are a lot of questions that need to be answered about who did what, when. What were the preparations? Who was involved in those preparations? What needs to be done to fix it? I know that the governor and I are going to be very zeroed in on what we need to make sure, what we need to do to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again. And that means we need to look at the structure of their preparation. So, we will have a close eye on what happened, when it happened, what didn't happen, and what we need to do to fix it in the future.
And what happened to the money, by the way, because there was $40 million. I know it was back in, I guess, 2017, but there was money, $40 million given specifically focusing on Bourbon Street as a potential target of terrorists. Do we know what happened to all that money?
I don't think we know the answer to that question yet, but I'm sure we will obtain it.
All right, Attorney General, thank you so much for being here, and our sympathies to the community of New Orleans, a beautiful city, and we wish you the very best for the Super Bowl. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.